Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hold Up and Happy Thanksgiving. Remember, this is the show where we dive deep inside your childhood nostalgia, pull the movies from your past out to see if they truly hold up. I'm sitting over here to the left of me, my turkey and dressing / stuffing, whatever you want to call it. And on the phone, I have my cranberry sauce himself, Kyle.
That's really fucking rude.
Hey, Kyle, how's your ball pee doing?
I think I got one close to like 5 milliliters. The other one's up to about 50.
Damn.
So that's how, in the physiological sense.
Good for you.
So when one fills up, the other one then takes over.
Chase, what about you?
30-20.
Oh, that sounds like bad vision or something. I don't even know how to put
Blurry.
that into words.
It's blurry vision.
There you go.
Yeah. Speaking of blurry vision, we watched Moonraker, didn't we?
You could say we watched. Yeah.
We watched Moonraker.
We did something. We actually watched
Saw
it together.
Moonraker.
We held hands while watching Moonraker.
It's the finish of our Die Another November. And
Shouldn't be the finish, but it is.
it shouldn't be the finish, but we finished. We finished all right, and we died in this November watching Moonraker.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, before we get started today, since it is Thanksgiving, can you tell us a little bit about your energy levels using least favorite Thanksgiving foods?
I mean, like, colloquially least favorite or my least favorite?
Your least favorite.
However you want to interpret it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Dry-ass turkey and some cranberry sauce and some really just, like, gloopy gravy that has no real taste except for salt.
Typical
Yeah.
white people food.
That sounds like a Midwestern Thanksgiving right there.
Like by your Aunt Brenda.
Sorry.
Twice divorced.
Shut up. With the expectation that this is the best meal all year that the relatives and your uncle just can't wait to devour.
And did the blessing take 10 minutes to get through?
No. They don't even pray. They're
Oh,
heathens.
shit. They're atheists. Okay.
Yeah. No. They're not atheists. They just say they're Christians, but they don't actually do anything Christian.
Oh, even better. That's even better.
Is this the same family where you have that one uncle who goes to the dessert table first and pulls out a piece of pie and says, "Hey, life's too short. Always start with dessert."
And then scratches his balls, like, egregiously.
No.
And pulls
This
out
is-
a Dr. Pibb.
No, it's like the energy of like
It's Mr. Pibb, I think.
he has to
No, I
have
think he's
like
a doctor.
It's
sweet
Mr.
tea,
Pibb.
but it's more so the like we have to use the special china, but you can't eat certain things off of it, kind of thing. And everybody has to help with something.
Cool.
So, Kyle, I have a question for you beyond that. So we talked about your worst Thanksgiving food. Let's talk about your worst James Bond. Let's talk about Roger Moore, because that's what this episode's going to center on. Tell me a little bit about Roger Moore. We've talked about the best with Sean Connery. We talked about a little bit of the middle ground with Pierce Brosnan. What about Roger Moore? Why do you hate him so much as James Bond?
He's physically not like you're going from Sean Connery, who's a physical specimen, to Roger Moore, who, if you think about it, is probably more like what
Boris Karloff.
Shut up. You keep on saying you both of you keep on talking out of turn.
No, I'm just saying, like, he looked ancient in this movie. He
Chase-
looks like a mummified corpse.
You said he looked like a 60-year-old, like, Methodist minister. Like, honestly, that big-ass tie, his stupid khakis, his lame-ass colored jacket, like, he looked like a 61-year-old, like, United Methodist priest or minister, whatever you want to call it.
Sorry for all the Methodists out there.
Yeah, that's not an insult against the Methodist community, but something
regardless
of that sort.
regardless of the costume design questionable choices, him as an actor, not a good James Bond.
He's not a good actor. I hate to.
I don't know if I'd say he's not a good actor. I don't think he's a good James Bond. I don't think he succeeds at that.
When Chase and I watched this last night, I said to him on more than one occasion, I was like, I don't think he's a very good actor. I just don't.
I haven't seen him in anything other than
That's the only
James
thing he's
Bond,
known
yeah.
for. That's like really the only thing he's known for. There's not much to go off of other than what we see in this character. Like, there was just no variance with his delivery. It was all, it wasn't monotone, but there was no up and down. it was just bland. It was bland as shit, man. I hate to pile on immediately, but
yeah, I know. But like, let's also be. You got to be fair where you're fair. You're not wrong. I don't think that he's very dynamic in his line delivery or what have you. But like, his only good movie is Live and Let Die, and that is even.
And I haven't seen that one.
That's pushing it, but at least it's more grounded and realistic, and you can get on board with it versus literally anything in this movie.
But wouldn't you say Paul McCartney and Wings made that movie?
No, I think so. You haven't even seen it.
So that's what I think. It's my opinion. You can't take that away from me.
Wait,
you're
so
right.
The Live and Let Die, was that the last Roger Moore movie?
No, it's the first.
First, okay.
Yeah, it was 77.
Okay.
Yep. So, and like his progression and his face from that movie to this movie in the course of a couple years is egregious. And he's very, and I'm not trying to get into unrealistic body standards, but like he's very puffy. He doesn't I don't understand how when they were casting this role, how they thought, oh my God, fuck everybody else. We have to have him.
That was the question we had. Was like, how the hell did this guy land the role of James Bond? Like, what did he do? Who did he suck off to get to this position?
I don't know if it was that or just like the stuff on the table just wasn't there. And I think Connery had it at that point. Although Connery does come back, and at one point, and there is another movie, Never Say Never Again, which is actually based off of the original Thunderball script that they did. And that movie came out at the exact same time as another Roger Moore James Bond. So I don't disagree with you guys, but we have to be fair about this. The script is awful.
The script is
that's what I told Andrew last night. I was like, I don't think so much of this is on his act. I mean, his acting wasn't great, but like
I don't agree, yeah. But I agree with you in the case. Like,
I'm just saying, if he was more dynamic, as an actor, I think he would have had other roles that were recognizable outside of this one. I do. Maybe he made his money with Bond. Was like, fuck it, I'm done.
That could have been true.
And that could have been true. But I just time and a place. I guess it worked for that era. But
Kyle, in our list of James Bond, your favorite James Bonds, you said it best. You were like, he comes off as a soft James Bond.
He's a very soft and just not very
charismatic,
angular or sharp or anything like a secret agent would be. It's just very, I don't know, lovey-dovey. And like you can tell that because like this is where we get out. I'm just going to talk about this now. When you talk about like the sex that happens in these movies with Sean Connery, it's very like the sex needs to happen. Usually, like I'm trying to get something on this person, or this person trying to get something on me. This one is just like, don't you know it's time to have sex now?
Yes.
Let's go have sex now. It's very just placed in there as like oh, he has a girl now. I think he sleeps with 3 or 4 different women in this one.
And it happens quickly. Like it happens like with no dialogue at all.
It's not believable.
Like, it's not believable.
How did you get from point A to point B to point C here?
It's almost like we were talking about Halloween 3, where it just comes out of nowhere and it doesn't make any sense to the plot itself, even though like you're expecting it with James Bond, but it's like at some point I was like, why is she sleeping with him? He's 40 years older than her. Yeah.
There's a lot of questions that don't make sense when you try to answer them like that. Like, why is she interested in him? Why are any of them interested in him? And he's not very, like, it would be one thing if the dialogue made up for it and he was witty and charismatic. He's literally just like, have you thought about sleeping with me? And that's about it. Like, and there's nothing else that kind of redeems that quality of it. And it ruins that part of James Bond. It ruins the sexiness. It's not a very good script. And it shows with how forced some of those moments are. And it also just goes like the set design. I will say this, positives, the color palette was nice.
Oh, yes. Very aesthetically pleasing.
There is nothing else. The shots are bad. Actually, no, it's not true. The Rio de Janeiro, some of those shots are okay. But like for the most part, it's bad. And this story doesn't make any sense. And when you compare this to Thunderball, it's not
close.
It's not complete.
I will say I liked the idea of Jaws the villain, but like, I don't know.
They did that character, but we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here.
Yeah, we've kind of already tipped our cap a bit. Should we just stop and talk about whether we think it holds up or not?
I want to say why we chose Moonraker. My brother did talk to me before we started this whole series, and he was like, yeah, Moonraker's batshit insane. And I was like, I feel like we should do a batshit insane James Bond.
Boy, what's
this one gets insane. A lot of mixed reviews, believe it or not. Like, a lot of James Bond fans really like this movie. And I know. Go ahead.
I don't know. I want to agree with the fact that it's batshit insane, but like that's almost giving it too much credit. I understand the sentiment where that's coming from, but at least batshit insane would be like there'd be something fun and quirky with it. This is boring as hell. This is one of the most boring James Bonds there is, and that includes the end, which we can directly compare to Thunderball.
Yeah,
it's almost the same exact thing they're going for, but think about how different they are. And again, this is a movie that's trying to punch way above where it's at.
It's trying to be Star Wars in a sense.
Well,
Star Wars came out like a year before.
2 years beforehand. Yep. I'm sure this one was influenced by the Star Wars trilogy or A New Hope a great deal. But no, Chase, you kept saying it's entertaining. That was a trip. And like, I don't know. I'm kind of with Kyle in the sense that it just didn't really push me. I really wasn't enthused.
I would say the reason I found it entertaining is because it was hilarious to me.
I mean, yeah, there were many what the fuck moments,
I laughed, and I honestly was the whole way through.
But it was just so nonchalant.
It was nonchalant. Should we just get into it? Like at this point, do you
want to give some numbers?
Yeah, let's get some numbers on it. So
it did well. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's a James Bond movie. I think all James Bond movies end up doing pretty well in theory. But again, this was a movie that it does have mixed reviews from fans. Some fans really swear by it. Other fans don't.
Shit.
But Kyle, I want to ask you real quick before Andrew gives us the numbers too. Do you think that they did this because of Star Wars? I know it was kind of a quick.
I don't think they did it because of Star Wars. I think you had a number of movies that were coming out during this decade. You talk about Alien.
The space race was a big thing at this time. You know, even though that was the 60s, the 70s and 80s were all about space and exploration.
This was, about a decade beforehand, but I got a lot of 2001: A Space Odyssey vibes from how they set things up.
That's the movie I couldn't think of when I was just saying.
Yeah, like the sets, the feeling, the color was very 2001. It really was.
And they
even made a
poorly.
reference. He didn't say open the pod bay doors, but he said it with that same inflection. Open the hangar doors or something like that. I guarantee you that was an ode to 2001. But, okay, some numbers. I want to get into that. You all want to guess the budget for this fascinating film?
And set and locations, I'm going to go on the higher side and say if Thunderball was what we said was like 20 million, I'm going to guess this was probably closer to 40 million or 50.
Chase?
I'm going to say 32 million.
34.
Okay.
Chase wins. Kyle, you lost. Sorry. You said 40 to 50. Chase said 32, which is only 2 million off, so you lose.
Thanks. Appreciate the feedback.
But it did well. It did well. Domestic opening was like 7 million and some. Domestic gross altogether was 70 million, 300,000 some change. International was 140 million altogether for worldwide, like 211.
You got to think of
really good for 79. So
when you look at it like in based on the numbers that Andrew just said, the effect we're going to tell you right now, the effects do not hold up. That's just that is what it is.
I think if it had a better plot and a better story overall, I think you wouldn't have noticed the special effects as much.
Yes.
I think it at that point because you're bored and screen watching, you're going to end up seeing those special effects for what they are. But let's dive into it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Strongly with that. I don't agree at all, but go on. You off.
You can be wrong, Kyle. That's your prerogative.
It's okay for you to be wrong.
It's okay for you to be wrong. I said it first,
no,
so therefore,
I agree. It's okay for you to be wrong,
I win this.
So, Kyle,
you won nothing as usual.
I win everything.
Before we get started in the blow by blow, Kyle, is this your least favorite James Bond movie?
That's what's proof. This is going to be at the bottom. I think there are other Roger Moores that are even worse than this, but this is.
How does it compare to Quantum of Solace and Spectre?
I think Quantum of Solace I would rather watch just because it's shot better.
And it also takes place in Venice at one point, doesn't it?
There's a lot of Venice happens a lot in James Bond. Done.
Does it really?
I'm pretty sure there's like 3 or 4 films that go to Venice, if not more.
That's really cute. It's really
but
cute.
Like, how many films are there now? Like 30 some. Like you're gonna have to go to some.
No, there's only 12. They got rid of the other ones. They don't exist anymore. So.
Oh, good. Maybe they get rid of this one then, because it's such. According to YouTube. So.
Hey, we should do our blow by blow, but we should not harbor on every waking second of this fucking blow by blow. We're gonna kill ourselves.
But it's so good. It's so good. We might as well.
No,
I think it's a lot to talk about here.
There's a lot,
and I've been trying to save my big opinion for the end. But
your big opinion, didn't you already give that away?
No, I did not. I told you that I found it entertaining. That does not mean anything. And it was entertaining because I was watching it with you.
And I was naked, oiled up on our couch.
We both were, remember? Yep. But starting with the blow by blow, Andrew, where does this movie start off and take place?
There's some British pilots in a commercial airliner that are flying back, I believe, to England, right?
Yeah.
And they're, we're almost to the border. Here we are. Oh, God. We're arriving 15 hours ahead of time. Isn't that good?
And they've got a big space shuttle strapped to the roof
of their commercial airliner. It's a Boeing 747.
Yes. Both of you shut up. That's a real thing. They transported the shuttles on 747s that were transport shuttles for that reason.
That's really cool,
shut up.
Kyle. Thank you for enlightening us.
Literally, you are so dumb. Go on.
They're fucking transporting this rocket, and
it's called the Moonraker.
And the pilots get emergency signal on their little dashboard. They're like, oh, what's going on now? Oh God, what do we do? And then the
two hijackers had slipped up into the Moonraker.
Yeah, they were hiding in cargo, and they got up into the rocket, and they took off. They launched
and blew the shit
out of that plane.
Oh yeah, so
I don't know if they can actually start a rocket.
I don't know if they did that to transport. I don't think it could have launched off like that because it would have had to leave Earth's atmosphere, which would need hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tons of rocket fuel. So I'm going to go ahead and say probably not.
Yeah, and the matter of fact, it just immediately leaves. It just immediately picks up all the force without the rockets having to warm up or anything.
Yeah. But the rockets wouldn't even be able to do anything because that thing's essentially just a heavy glider. Yeah, that's all it is. It's not going to fly on its own. It needs to drop from space. It's that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it is. We laughed so hard, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. We're settling in on this one."
I didn't laugh at the pilot's demise, but just the way they went out. It was just.
Yeah, because they got shot into the sun, basically. Yeah. So they're dead, and now Moonraker is being stolen because, again, it was Moonraker was spray painted on the side.
You can see it on the side of the rocket. That's what the name comes from.
Oh my God! Thanks for the exposition, guys.
Yeah, they were really shy about that.
Yeah. And then it flash forwards to, I think we got M, right? And he takes a call from the government and saying that Moonraker's missing now, or crash,
or was it? Or did we go to Bond first and then?
No, we went to this because
eat shit.
Because they were like,
I'm not going to talk about this then.
They were like, Moneypenny, where's Bond? He's like, well, he's on his last leg or something that. Yeah. And then it cuts to Bond, and he's got his hand
he's in some
weirdly.
He's in some weird. It's an airplane or it's an airplane.
It's like a private jet.
Yeah, but it's really nice on the inside. It's white leather interior, and he's trying to make out with this broad.
Yeah, we don't know why he's up there or what he's doing. Well, we know what he's doing. He's making out with this, it looks like a flight attendant. And then she pulls a gun on him out of nowhere. And then the pilot opens the door, and he's got his parachute on. And he starts shooting at the controls.
He just, says something dumb and then just turns his revolver around and massacres the pilot. So the plane just starts going down versus just, I don't know, shooting everybody in the plane and then jumping out. It's so fucking dumb.
We're gonna get into that because me and Andrew talked about how many times they left Bond walk away without any serious wounds or death.
This whole movie and the series of movies that lead up to this and afterwards could be chalked up to how do we make the bad guys dumb enough so that we give James Bond as much time to lazily escape as possible? There's no skill. There's nothing that like makes any sense. It's almost as if like Bond is like, would you mind holding on a second and just positioning yourself? Yeah, just like that. Now don't do anything. I'm going to stab you. Great. Perfect. Now you come at me and telegraph your punch from 3 miles away. I'll catch it, throw you over the balcony, and you'll die. Does that sound all right? Like it's absolutely.
You know who you sound like? You sound like the guy from Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
That guy.
A big giant smorgasbord. I don't care. In the middle of the Amazon. Or a T-Rex nest.
For all I care. Yes.
But yeah, he shoots the controls, and then him and Bond get into a fight on the plane, and it was really cool though. Is like this looked like it was actually done in an aircraft where they were like hanging out the door, and then Bond just yeets the guy out of the plane. Of course, he's got his parachute on, so no harm, no foul. And then he ends up getting kicked out by the girl. And Kyle, how does terminal velocity work?
In what way?
Explain it.
Explain it in the way that
comparison to what we saw.
So we saw when an object is free falling, it will reach a certain speed that it will maintain, and it won't go any faster than that speed. So if something has reached terminal velocity ahead of you, unless there is another like force acting upon that object, such as wind resistance, or in this case, human intervention or input, you're not going to be able to catch up to it.
Are you sure?
It will continue fall. Yeah,
there are no exceptions.
Bond couldn't catch up. So what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is the guy gets yeeted out of the plane first, and there's a good 20 seconds that goes by before Bond is thrown out.
And he has a parachute.
And the guy has a parachute. Bond doesn't have a parachute, so Bond's got to catch up with this free-falling individual and steal his parachute. So Bond just throws his arms back to do the typical skydiver-like form and somehow catches up with the guy, and they're in midair. And I think they did this stunt in real life. Like, this looks real. This is what I was talking about earlier with, like, some of this stuff kind of holds up a little bit because they just did it.
But it's just silly. Like,
it's dumb.
Every single thing that could be cool about it is negated by the fact that it's just done in a silly fashion.
Right. And that's a good point, because we'll get to so many set pieces and action sequences in this movie as we describe them. You're like, wow, that sounds fun and that sounds cool. But when Bond catches up with this guy, they just start rolling with each other. And it's two skydivers, obviously, that they shot just rolling. And there's no, like, fight. There's not a whole lot that happens. Eventually, Bond gets the parachute away from him.
He rips it off his body, and the other guy falls to his death.
Yeah.
And then doesn't Jaws come down and like meet him?
Yeah, we see Jaws jump from the plane.
Do we know Jaws at this point? Was he in the previous
No, we
film?
just saw the teeth.
Yeah.
No. I think he's in another movie before this.
There would only have been one before this one. I think it was Live and Let Die, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Live and Let Die was 77. This one was 79. This was the second installment.
Unless he wasn't in a Sean Connery movie.
It might have been one after this one. No, he wasn't. I think it might have been one after this. He's in a couple. I'll tell you that.
I think Moonraker may be his debut film.
Yeah,
but
he's not in Live and Let Die.
So anyway, we see him with his teeth. Me and Andrew knew exactly
right away
that this was Jaws, but we know of this character. He jumps from the plane a good minute and a half after Bond has jumped from the plane and is still able to almost catch up to Bond.
He does the same thing Bond did to the previous guy.
But luckily, thank God, because his parachute malfunctions, but thankfully there's a traveling circus underneath Jaws, and he's able to land in the circus tent.
And we assume
we
does
get
not
one of
die.
Yeah, we assume he doesn't die.
Even though he
should have died, because I don't think that circus tent's going to stop that fall. And then we get one of the worst intros I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really bad James Bond intro. It's probably one of the worst ones. A lot of the Roger Moore ones are very, very bad.
How do you describe this one, Kyle, to the folks at home that want to know?
For the folks at home, Kyle.
It's like going to a fireworks show, and then like on the last like minute of the cool fireworks, before you get into like the main show, like the really big shit, you take a Valium, and then everything else is shitty after that, no matter how good it could have been. They take all of the momentum out of that first bit, and it's like, it's Moonraker.
Kyle, do you not like Valium?
You like it.
Exactly. I know most people do, so that's why I was just kind of taken aback by your comments there. But
yeah, it completely blunts all the momentum that you've had up to this point because it's a really shitty song.
It's very slow, and it's nothing to take away with. Who did we say did this song? Do you remember?
It was a Scottish singer. She's very famous.
She's done several. She did Goldfinger, I think. I think she did several songs, but she was great voice.
It's Shirley Bassey. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a legendary Scottish singer.
Great voice, but the song was so slow. Because Bond has, like, his intros have these, like, bluesy kind of numbers, but they're a little bit more, like, thematic, and they bring you in a little bit more. This one was just kind of dull.
Boring.
But I guess it sets the tone for the rest of the movie here.
Yeah, we're kind of, like I said, tipping our cap a bit. But
yeah, so after this, where do we go from here?
They brief him on the Moonraker, and then they send him to California, is essentially what it is. Because that's where Drax International or whatever.
Yeah, he's going to go meet
Drax company.
He's going to go meet with Drax, who created Moonraker, trying to figure out why someone would steal this shuttle, because Q and M have found out that the shuttle that crashed, Moonraker was not a part of the debris, so they think something fishy's up. Well, Bond gets that one of our favorite parts of watching this last night is Bond ends up in California to go to the Drax estate, and he's being escorted around by a pilot, a very attractive pilot.
She's so attractive. She wasn't wearing a helmet. She wasn't dressed like a pilot, but boy, she was attractive.
There was one scene, and this is when Gretchen was watching the movie, and Gretchen like looks over and sees this lady. She has her pilot headset on, and she's kind of talking to Bond, telling him about the Drax estate. So it cuts to her and Bond in the cockpit of the helicopter. Then it cuts away to the scenery of California from above, and then it cuts back to her. She's not wearing her headset anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
And then it cuts.
She took it off, She didn't need it.
But Bond's got his on. And then it cuts away, cuts back, and her hair's teased up. And then it cuts away, cuts back, and her hair's teased even more. It felt like one of those weird, like, little kaleidoscope things you did where you just, like, when you were a kid, you touched it and it was just some different image every time. It really, really was kind of disturbing for this Bond movie. It was almost like watching an adult film at this point. They end up at the Drax estate, and he sees a lot of, like, astronauts being trained, and Bond ends up meeting Drax, who's this billionaire kingpin.
I want to kind of draw your attention to something before this.
Please draw my attention.
When they're going in the helicopter and they're looking at everything, they're like, "This is his compound." Ha! There's anything that he doesn't know and he doesn't want. Ha! And they're like looking out, and it's like he owns this, and you see like the Moonraker facility, and it just looks like bad FX, and it's like this futuristic facility where the Moonraker, where the shuttles are launched. Great, cool. And then they pan over, and it's like this really bad cutout of, and Andrew, I'll have you look this up to see if I'm right. The pilot's like, "That's his estate. It was brought brick by brick from France," and I'm fairly sure that's the palace at Versailles, or one of the bigger palaces in France that they're referencing. And when they land, every shot after that is in Europe. Like, it's in Europe, it's in France. There's no bother to even try to get it to look similar or anything like remotely the same.
It's the exterior. Sorry, Chase, to cut you off. I have an answer here.
Yeah.
So pipe down.
Go ahead.
Pipe down.
I'm piped.
The exteriors were filmed at Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte, which is in France, and then the interiors were filmed at Château de Guermantes, which is also
Château de Guillermo.
Château de Guermantes. I don't know how you say.
If you just send it to me, send me a screenshot, and I'll tell you.
Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte. I'm pronouncing the first one correctly, but Château de Guermantes. So. Yes, I took French, Kyle. Château de Vaux-le-Vicomte. It's not Vicomte, it's Vicomte. But that's how you say it. And then Château de Guermantes.
My point with all of this is that they don't even bother trying to make it look like it's in California anymore. It's just lazy. It's almost like, he bought out like 13 miles of land around it and brought in all these trees which are endemic to Europe that would never survive in the desert of freaking California. It's just dumb.
Yeah,
Stupid.
I think it was Italy where a lot of that was filmed. So, yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, and there was like the warehouse that they showed was like very like it was a different terrain altogether. It looked like none of that was in the same facility. But anyway, he ends up meeting Drax at this point. What happens next, Andrew? Drax introduces him to Dr. Goodhead.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so he introduces him to Dr. Goodhead. That's our Bond girl.
Actually, no,
for this one.
he doesn't introduce. I don't even remember the conversation they had. Like,
Yeah,
I was already starting to tune out at this.
He goes down to the training facility where she's training also to be an astronaut, which will come into play later.
He kind of stumbled upon her. He's like, I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead. And she goes, well, that's me. And he's like, oh, a woman? Remember? That's
nice.
Roger. That was
yeah.
their intro.
Well, and so as he's walking away with Dr. Goodhead, as she's doing like this tour,
and even before that tour, there was a pan back to Drax who like gets on the phone. He's like, make sure someone brings home.
No,
to Mr. Bond.
he was on the phone, but he also told Chang, his assistant,
or Cha.
Yeah, or Cha, as he calls him, is short for Chang, I guess. But he tells him, he's like, keep an eye on Bond.
Bring him some home.
And then, so they go to one of the astronaut training areas. And what is that, like what is that, a centrifuge, Kyle?
Centrifuge train, artificially trained G-forces.
Yeah, to train astronauts for the Gs that they will have to go through.
Like fighter pilots, whatever that you would experience G's with, essentially.
And it's Mission Space, Epcot. That's what that is. So
yeah, Andrew's really well versed on all that because
Andrew's had a lot of training at Mission Space.
Mm-hmm.
But she ends up like telling him about it, and they're kind of flirty, but also she's got her guard up on him, and they're kind of just zinging one-liners at each other. He ends up just with his suit on, deciding to get in the centrifuge and test out his mental stability at certain Gs. And she was like, here's the panic button. You hit this red button and it'll stop the centrifuge and you'll be able to walk free. We call it the sissy button.
And don't worry, 20 Gs is death, but you're not going to get anywhere close to that. 7.
You would die before 20 Gs.
Yeah. And she's like, most 70-year-olds pass out at 6. And so she puts him in there, and she's like, I have to leave for a second, but the operator will make sure you're fine. So she walks out. The centrifuge is going, and you just see the G's climbing. And Chang comes in there and tells the operator to leave, and he basically cuts something in the machine to allow it to not break off at 7 to 8 Gs, so it just keeps going, and he gets into like what 14, 15.
He gets up. I think it was 13 or 14 on the,
and he's still like conscious. And I was like, no way, absolutely not. Because Kyle, do you know off the top of your head how many Gs a human can survive?
I mean, sustained Gs.
Yes. What's the limit?
For fighter pilots, like it's around like you won't die, but you'll
pass out.
Like around 9 Gs. I think you die around like 12 or 13.
Yeah,
that's where it was. I think it was right at 14.
15 Gs. Like, I think it got to 15. I was like, dear God, this man would be dead right now.
Yeah, I don't see how you'd be alive.
This Roger Moore was old, as we said.
Yeah, I mean, he
was 60 plus
with no prior training, like other than falling out of that plane, I guess. So he ends up surviving the assassination attempt by Chang because Dr. Good, he had the thing that Q gave him.
Yeah, he has that little wrist shooter
gun that Q just happened to hand him as he's leaving.
It's like a mini spear that shoots out of like his.
And he was conscious enough at 15 Gs to pull the trigger on that and destroy.
That's mind-boggling. Also, I don't see how that would have stopped shit because it's not being controlled from the Nair; it's being controlled from the other.
Yeah,
right.
But when you,
but he's
Kyle,
Bond.
He's Bond, and that was the dashboard. So that's that. Whatever. You don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. You accept it. So, but he stops it, and he gets out, and he looks up, and he sees Cha up there at the control center. Look at him, and like quickly walk away. And Dr. Goodhead comes back. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I would have stopped it had I known." I was like,
Why would you walk?
Why would you walk away? Like,
yeah, in this dangerous equipment that could kill people. Like,
why didn't you try to go up to the control center right away? Like, what, whatever.
next thing we got, Bond is sleeping with the pilot.
Yeah.
Trying to get information from her.
And again, this is one of those moments where like he just forces himself upon her, but there's something believable about it. Like her giving in. I was like, what did he say? What did he do?
It was a quick cut too. Like it was
so
like
quick.
We just went from him almost dying to him sleeping with the pilot, not even Goodhead, not even talking to her. So the plot is just there's nothing going on plot wise, but we're bouncing around left and right. She ends up giving him a lot of information though.
He gets her to break into his safe in like his main room is what it was.
Oh yeah, and he finds these
glass.
Yeah, these plans,
the blueprints for
a glass vial, and he notices that Venice is on it. So that leads us to Venice, everybody. That's it. We're not even.
We don't need to even get into it. It's not even important.
Well, the problem is we're not missing anything. We've covered everything.
Yeah, he just pulls out. He pulls out like an instruction manual that has like a hexagonal shape on it. It's like, oh, glass. Oh, Venice. No. I must go there. that's pretty much it.
Of his mistresses already being killed and eaten alive by dogs.
No, that comes later though.
No, it's shortly after that.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
the following morning, they're in the yard shooting like pheasants.
Yeah. So
this is actually a funny moment.
Yeah, this is great. So before Bond can leave to go to Venice, he's got the plans. He's been snooping around. I think Drax is under the impression that he knows that Bond has been snooping.
He's well aware.
Yeah, he sets up a sniper in the trees, and this is like a golf course, but they're pheasant.
They're out in the yard like pheasant hunting with the shotgun
on a golf course.
And Drax is like, "Are you a sportsman, Mr. Bond? Can you shoot a gun?" And Bond's of course like, "Oh, not very well." And he takes it and he.
All of the Sean Connery we got from Thunderball, except less cool.
No, anywhere here is cool.
Not even close.
Yeah. They were just rinsing and repeating here.
It's Bond's turn to shoot the pheasant, and he misses horribly. But who does he hit but the sniper in the tree who just falls out?
Yeah, the funny thing is he's like, "You missed, Mr. Bond." He's like, "Did I?" And his like assassin falls from the tree. It's like, uh-oh. He knows he's trying to assassinate me, and he hands the loaded gun back to Drax
and just walks away.
Who could have shot him at his own compound and killed him?
And then shortly after this, the pilot, Bond's evening mistress,
rolls up on a golf cart,
and Drax
with like one broken wheel because she was driving it on like half pavement, half grass.
I don't know. She pulls up and Drax is like, "Oh, I know what you did last night. You let him in to my study, and you blah 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 blah." And she's like, "No, I didn't." Oh. And Cha shows up with like two like Dobermans, I think.
I don't know
Rottweilers.
They weren't Rottweilers. I think they were
some mixed breed. I don't think they were because if they weren't like traditional, because one of them, they both had tails. So I don't know. I don't know if they were like a close breed of that, but they looked near as makes no difference. They were quote unquote scary dogs.
They looked like kill dogs, murder dogs, if you will.
Murder dog. Y'all got that.
They were the murder dogs.
They're gonna kill you. And she sees Cha take them off the leash, and they're just sitting there. And instead of getting back in her golf cart, she runs into the nearby woods, and Cha lets them go, and sick her.
She's eaten by two dogs.
Two Doberman Pinscher Rottweiler mix type things.
She's dead.
Yeah.
And that's how we get rid of the pilot.
Yep, she dies.
Now we go to, and yes, all the stuff about he meets with Q branch again, right? And he meets with M, and then the freaking defense minister or some shit, and they're like, he's trying to figure out like what's going on, and he goes to this, he goes to this building, and he's like sneaking up on this room, and he sees some guy go over to a keypad, and he plugs in. It's like
he goes to the warehouse first. So he's in Venice, and he goes to this warehouse where the glass is being made, and he finds the glass in the warehouse, and it kind of, I don't know how it leads him down to your point, Kyle. Somehow I just want to bring this up because it was so fucking stupid.
He follows some scientists into a hallway into this building after talking to some like
Just
attractive
looking at a
secretary.
piece of glass, yeah.
The scientist like keys in a number and he hides like, behind a corner.
It plays the theme from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, and he follows the same pattern and breaks into the room and yeah.
I'm sure that's the same tone they use for Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, that was a good call. I didn't even think about that until you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good reference. I mean, it's not a good reference for the movie, but I'm glad you caught it, Kyle. Like,
well, this came first though, so
that is true. But
so fuck John Williams, right?
Yeah, John Williams sucks. So
let's both take that back. we should repent right now.
So he gets into this lab and he sees these two scientists messing with these vials and these chemicals,
and they conveniently walk away, so there's no one in the lab. So he just goes in and takes these two vials,
and he leaves one on this this shipping container or something. And the scientists come back, and he runs in the control room, and he hits a button, and the control closes the door. Which Andrew was like, "Oh, I'm so glad he knew which button to hit to lock himself into this control room." And all of a sudden, the scientists come back to move the shipping container, and the vial falls off and breaks, and just absolutely massacres them.
They suffocate and die.
Yeah, I was like, Bond just killed two innocent humans at this point. They were just scientists, and so now he's starting to realize that this glass that he found with Drax is related to a biochemical weapon. And it's
really starting to piece it together here,
right?
folks.
Like so he knows that Drax is doing something with a weapon or making a weapon for whatever reason. He doesn't know quite why or what it has to do with Moonraker yet. And then do we get the chase through Venice, the boat chase?
Yeah.
So he is.
It was really cool.
It was an escape through.
Let's preface this real quick, Chase. He gets on a fucking gondola to separate himself from what's her face, and it's a random gondola. Like he just gets on a random gondola.
Wasn't that random?
Okay, it's random enough. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is that he gets on. He just kind of goes up and he's like, "Hey, you over there, come get me." And this guy comes to get him, and they're kind of like, he's like pushing him through the water on the gondola in Venice, very picturesque. And this dirge boat comes up next to him with carrying a casket on top. And this guy gets out of the casket, like he opens up, the casket opens up. And then all of a sudden, there's all these knives and swords in there,
which I find so funny because all he needed was a gun. Why'd they pack him in with a bunch of like fucking throwing knives? And he misses every throw that he throws.
And the first one that he throws, Bond picks up and throws and pierces his heart immediately. Like he like dies instantly.
Ever. The worst assassin who's ever lived.
Because you would think this guy with that many throwing knives in his casket would be like an expert at throwing knives.
Or that he'd have a little bit more to offer the scene than just a quick 10, 15 seconds. At least it would have been a dynamic battle. He just dies immediately.
And why the casket?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, is this like something he always does? Like, I have to have my casket ready, so I have all my things in it. I can't. He's like the most autistic like hitman ever. I can only kill people in Venice on my dirge boat with the casket open. Like,
could you imagine if he like suffocated in the casket? So when the casket opened, he was just unconscious.
Or he actually like locked himself in the casket and he couldn't even open it to begin with and just ruined the entire scene.
But anyways, I mean, so that stupid bullshit happens, and then he's like, shot at,
and he's being shot at by the guys that are in the gondola. They start shooting, why didn't they just do that to begin with?
Exactly. I guess they're trying to be discreet, but then that's just about as discreet as opening up a casket filled with freaking knives and throwing a knife at two people. Like, cool.
You know what else is discreet, Kyle? When you hit a button on the gondola and a motor like shoots out from behind.
He cranks up the speed by like 40 miles per hour, maybe even more.
Which the henchmen do the same thing. So is that a thing in Venice?
Where all these gondolas planted by MI6 or like the CIA, you know?
Or all the gondolas there have that ability, and they spent all that money for that one instance where James Bond did that one thing.
Makes perfect sense.
So now they're going on a speedboat chase, and and then he gets like to try to divert from them. He
drives up on the land.
He drives up on the land, and like these, like, I guess bumpers come out and some wheels.
It looks like the American flag. You know,
it's supposed to be a hovercraft, and clearly it's not. And it looks like the dumbest, like the color scheme that Andrew's talking about. Like you look at
the American
it,
flag.
Where did that come from?
Yeah,
doesn't make. Not even the Union Jack. It looks like the American flag.
Andrew was like, we're in Venice, and he is a British agent. Why do we have an American flag like draped around this like boat? And now the boat is driving at full speed around, like, it looks like
they're
Vatican?
like in the plaza of Venice. Like, it's a big square. There's people drinking. Remember, this was
they're during a festival or something?
Yeah, they're not. It's just a very open area, public area in Venice where people are sitting around, noshing and enjoying the weather in a very public section. And when he pulls up onto this square, everyone's kind of taken aback. Remember, it cuts to some waiter like pouring a beer on his customer's head and not paying attention. It was really stupid.
The pigeon
and
with
it cuts
the double
to a pigeon, a double take. It was a horrible double take. It was so badly edited.
We had to rewind it a couple of times. Like, I don't know if you caught it. I know you caught it, but I don't know if you cared enough to, like, we were like, why? What
I thought it was my TV lagging.
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately was like, what the was this?
This is what I'm talking about. I've tried to warn y'all. Like, this is what we're talking about with these Roger Moore movies. It's that kind of.
It was like, it was not funny. It was not like
realistic.
Yeah, it's like a glitch. It was so bad, and like, who cares about a pigeon doing a double take? Like, that's not funny.
It was.
It was funny because it was unintentional.
It was ironically funny.
Yeah, that's what I call this movie, ironically funny, because I was laughing my ass off at this entire movie, and I do not mean in a good way. So he ends up escaping these guys, and he's got the vial with him.
It's in his breast pocket.
It's in his breast pocket, which is.
It could easily be smashed, and he would be fucked.
And everyone around him would be fucked, because I think it is a very powerful...
It's a nerve gas.
Yeah, but he ends up in this museum, and he's just trying to escape, basically. And next thing you know, Chang shows up, Drax's minion. He shows up with a kendo stick wearing like a fencing garb on.
It's what you would use to train for, like, traditional Japanese martial arts.
But
how fitting.
But he's using a kendo stick, which is a non-lethal weapon. It's usually just a training tool. And he shows up to try to take on Bond, and as soon as he gets in there, Bond just gets the better of him. Chang looks like a complete doofus in this entire... And it's
they
one of
break everything in the museum.
In the museum. And then there's one point where Bond picks up a vase to throw at him, and the alarm goes off. And
he sets it back down, and it turns off.
Yeah, and I was like... What do you mean? You just broke everything.
And then they broke that same vase, like cut the top clean off, and the alarm didn't go off.
That's not how it works.
Continuity, motherfucker. Come on.
And it's the worst fight scene I've ever seen in an action film. Bond is not throwing any type of realistic punch. He doesn't look like he's capable of fighting. Chang looks like he's scared shitless the entire time. He's swinging at air.
The ending was pretty funny.
They end up somehow getting in this clock tower.
It's like a cathedral. They're at St. Mark's Cathedral, I'm pretty sure, or church. And they're behind this giant stained glass
clock. I mean,
again, overlooking some sort of square where there are a bunch of people.
Probably the same square.
Probably. There's a big band, like a jazz band, playing down right below, and Bond just takes Sean, throws him out the stained glass, and he flies down like 50 feet and lands head first into the piano.
Goes through the piano.
Goes through the entire layers of wood.
Andrew, how high do you think he would have had to fall to actually break through the metal part of the piano? And not let alone the wood and the strings, without it like severely mangling his face and body.
I don't think that's possible. I think he could.
He would almost have
go
to jump
through
from the plane from the beginning of the movie.
I was going to say you have to 20 to 30 times
but
more
we saw
than the
Jaws
height they were
go
at.
through a circus tent already and survive. So why is he going through this piano? And then what does he say? Play it again for me, Sam.
Something like
yeah.
that.
kill yourself.
Oh, yeah.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen. One of the worst fight scenes I've ever seen with one of the funniest endings.
Even you were like, I hope he throws him out the window. I was like, he's going to.
I
know he is.
Kyle, I'm so sorry, but I told Andrew, I looked at him and I said, I will give this movie 4 stars if he throws him out of the clock.
No, you said an 8.9.
8.9 if he throws him out of the clock tower. Little did I know he's going to go through a
Within 10 seconds, you're like, all right, it's an 8.9.
Lock into a 4 now, buddy.
Written in stone.
Yeah, oh, fuck.
You are locked into a 4 now.
Well, and then after this, so now he meets back up with the Prime Minister and M and Q, and he's trying to take him back to the lab, right?
One quick thing. He did run into Dr. Goodhead here in Venice.
Yes,
They
he
had
did.
A
little chat.
A little rendezvous.
But I will say this whole time in this fight scene, I want to go back to what you said. He put the vial in his breast pocket, and he was in this massive fight.
A vial that was
glass.
fragile enough to be broken by just dropping it lightly onto the floor. Let's go through that first.
Right. And he had it in his breast pocket, and he checks it at the end after he throws Chang, 6 stories into a piano, and he looks and sees that it's still there and intact. I was like, there's no way. Because they were falling through tables and broken glass and display cases. There's no way.
The odds that wouldn't have been touched were probably pretty low.
Or at least not fall out of his breast pocket when he was rolling around. Okay. Anyway, so he meets up with Goodhead. There's some weird connection that they're having, but none of that matters. So they get to the point now where he meets up with M and Q and tells them about the lab. So they all go to the lab with their gas mask on, and the lab has been moved. I call bullshit on that.
Yeah,
because now it's
changed.
a huge marble cathedral.
It was like the inside of Drax's study in California. It was it wasn't like a replica, but it was like the same.
There's no way.
Same kind of room.
There's no way. And so they're embarrassed. The Prime Minister wants Bond taken off the case, and I think it's like M that says
he's like, "Oh, it's time for you to go on vacation. Better not make it Rio De Janeiro."
I've been meaning to get to Rio.
Oh, and we did miss this one part. So, and it's not much to mention, but he does sleep with Goodhead. Mm-hmm. I say it's not much to mention, but that's how he finds out about Rio.
Yeah.
She's heading to Rio, and he finds out she's CIA because she had all these like assassination tools. So we know Goodhead is CIA. Bond is MI6. They talk about working together, but Goodhead leaves quickly after sleeping with him to go to Rio, and then that's when Bond decides to go to Rio too, because they have a feeling that the glass and all the biolab has been moved to Rio. How? I can't remember, and I don't think it matters. That's just where we go next. So what happens when he gets to Rio, Kyle?
There's just so much stuff that happens in Rio. So, and by so much, I mean like very little.
So much empty stuff, I would say.
So much just like, it just doesn't really matter. To be quite frank, we could gloss over most of this, and I'm going to. So he gets to Rio, and he gets picked up by this chick. I forget, what was her name?
She's some like, I forgot her name. She's not in the movie long enough to have a name, but she sleeps with him.
Yep, exactly. Almost immediately. He's like, what does one do in Rio when they don't samba, essentially? And he just like is like, it's one of those times where it's like, and it's time for sex. Like, don't forget, we're doing this now. And she's essentially working with MI6 or whoever, who knows.
CIA.
She's a liaison. And they're like investigating some more of Drax's stuff because he has like an air freight there. And they go out one night and they're having like a carnival outside. And the two of them go out and they're going to this warehouse, and he's like, wait, they get to the outside of the warehouse and he's like, wait here and don't talk to any strange men. And she's just like waiting outside for him to go through this warehouse, and they're going through everything, and she's waiting outside. You see this man, or you presume it's a man, very tall person with a very big clown mask on, ominously walking, very almost like the Monty Python, where it's like every time they cut to him, he's farther away, or the same spot walking forward, and he gets closer and closer. James finds something in the air. He finds like a little something you put on like your jacket that says Drax Air Freight or something on it. And he looks out the window, and it's Jaws. and Jaws has what's her face, the undisclosed woman in his arms. But like before this happens, he like comes up to her and she pulls out a knife, a switchblade, and she holds it out to the side, very limp-wristed, and Jaws essentially just looks at it and she just drops it. He like touches her hand and she drops it. And he picks her up and he's trying to like bite her neck, but then a group of people come by and they're like, "Oh, we're dancing. See, I'm a 7'1" tall man, and I've got her in my arms, and everything's fine though." And she likes it, and she's clearly distressed, and everybody's like so drunk that they're like, "Yeah, it's great." And at that time, James sees her, and he jumps down, and a little fight ensues. And how does that end? I don't remember how that ends.
So they dance and get Jaws away, basically. Nothing really happens, and he's able to escape with her and just takes her back home, which is weird. And then he meets up with Goodhead again because he goes to this area because he's watching the planes from Drax's like area take off all the Drax planes. And he's like, they're moving something big. And then he sees Goodhead there. And then they get in a cable car chase with...
This thing I had to really power through this. Because
Well, this middle part, guys, as bad as this movie is, this middle part is just...
ass.
It is ass. But we get this point now where they're going down the cable cars, and Jaws ends up... he's in his cable car.
Andrew, what does he do before he even gets in that cable car? He stops him, but how does he stop him, Andrew?
He takes his teeth. He grabs the big wheel that controls the cable and kind of stops it, and then bites the cable and easily severs said cable.
Like licorice.
With his metal
Which
teeth.
is what they use. They use licorice for this movie.
Did they actually?
Yeah, that's what he bit into.
That's cool.
So,
That's not.
how much do you think that cable car weighs?
I mean, tons, literally.
Tons.
Literally.
And how much mechanical force do you think that wheel is generating?
Again, tons.
Yeah. So, big, tall, 7'1" man, stop with hand, make thing go stop now.
No,
that's essentially happen.
That's never going to happen. Obviously.
Never. And this is the kind of stuff. It's just so comical and cartoonish. It's almost verging on I say almost. It's not quite that bad. But Batman and Robin.
I was going to say it's like 60s Batman and Robin. I was literally about to say the same thing. It's just of that ilk.
Yeah,
but there's no backstory as to how is he superhuman? Does he have mechanical strength?
Kyle, you weren't paying attention. He has steel teeth.
He's got metal teeth, baby.
God, that gives him the strength to stop something like that.
But hey, let me ask you this, Kyle. If he severed that cable, don't you think that would create like a chain reaction between the two cars, and like the cable would go flying down past the one going up, and like there would be no suspension at that point, right? Isn't that
one of them? All plummeted into the ocean.
Well, I still don't understand why he bit the cable, because nothing happened after he bit the cable. He bit it for no reason.
That to me would make the tram like free fall.
Yeah,
but
which would have been a great assassination attempt on Bond.
And he probably would have died at that point.
Yeah, he just bite the cable, let him fall, into movie, roll credits. Roger Moore's career's over.
That didn't happen. It didn't happen. Nothing happened.
Anyway, he gets on the other cable. Or other cable car, stops it near Bond's, and they get in this fist fight, and he slaps the shit out of Dr. Goodhead.
Yeah, he sends her flying like 10 feet. He just backhands her, and she gets yeeted.
Best part of the movie.
It was pretty funny.
So they start doing this another horribly choreographed fight scene
on top of these cable cars over like a canyon
with no cable. There's no cable car because he bit the cable.
But there are cables. That's the thing.
There are cables that are severed. There's no way that this is gonna. It makes no sense.
We should just pretend that he didn't bite that cable.
And, yes, and then but Bond and Goodhead end up getting into one of the cable cars and riding it down. And then somehow
they get in and lock the door so he can't get back in.
And then they get on another one, and then they're trying to escape somehow, and they're going down, and then Jaws starts coming after them in his cable car, but his cable car speeds up because I guess the operator...
The guy that he had tapped to control... The controls, I guess, and the base station or whatever.
Anyway,
it goes awry.
Bond and Goodhead escape, and Jaws' cable car plummets all the way down into this concrete building.
It's like the Welcome Center. There's like Pepsi vending machines, people eating under umbrellas at a bench, and it just destroys it.
And he gets out, and he has the big steel wheel that Kyle was talking about, like around his neck, which he would crush him. I mean, he's trying to get it off, and some girl shows up.
This blonde girl with pigtails and braces who's like half his size, literally.
Maybe not even half.
This is one of those rare examples where they take music from other well-known pieces, and I'm pretty sure it's the theme of When Romeo Meets Juliet and Romeo and Juliet from Tchaikovsky, I believe, or another composer. Very famous. And they just lock eyes and, okay, they're in love now. We're holding hands. We're in love now.
And
cool. All right, moving on.
She's, you know, like I said, we've talked about how small she is. She helps him get the wheel off his head that he couldn't do himself. And it defied logic. It defied physics. And yeah, they go into their romance. She's smitten, he's smitten, and that's that. So neato, cool, great. Moving on. I don't even know what comes next. I can't say that I was too enthralled with this moment, if you will. It took me out.
So Dr. Goodhead and James Bond land softly. They jump off the cable car. It looks like they're dropping like 20 or 30 feet, and they just softly land on the grass and immediately.
This was one of my least favorite parts of the movie. I was so upset at this part. So they jump off, and Bond like immediately tries to have sex with her. Immediately in the open.
There's no pause. It's just like, well,
and then like guards show up, and he's like, I think
they're not guards. They're paramedics.
And he's like, oh, we don't need anything. And he continuously goes to try to have sex with her, and one of them beats him over the head with like, one of those like stick things, I guess, like those batons.
And then they put him in an ambulance.
And they put him in an ambulance to strap him down, and strap her down too.
Whatever.
Oh,
they're in the back of this ambulance.
God, and so now
they find James gets out of the restraints, beats the shit out of the guy in there with like one hand, and it completely owns him. And this guy was like the most cucky, yucky boy there was.
Well, Roger Moore throws the worst punch I've ever seen of a James Bond.
So he gets out of the ambulance. Dr. Goodhead stays, and like he rolls comically down the road. And Dr. Goodhead is like, I guess the woman he was just making love to, cared so much about, like she's just like rolling away in this ambulance, and he just goes, oh, all right, I'm good, and starts walking up the hill. And that's the end of that scene. Cool. All right, cool. Moving on. we get to the Amazon all of a sudden, because now they're in the Amazon. He's looking for this.
So what he found out, like, so Goodhead is captured, and he's in a meeting, and Q's like, hey, we found out that vial we tested from you is this rare orchid from the Amazon. So you probably need to just go there. And that's it. And they was like, how am I going to get to the Amazon? He's like, we got something for you. No, they just give him a speedboat.
It was some sport boat from, my dad would probably be able to tell you, but it was like some kind of nice speedboat that probably had an onboard motor. It did have an onboard motor, and it was like meant for shallow waters, and it's really nice. And he's just like in his cute little safari getup, and he's got his little khaki getup on. And he's just putzing around the Amazon in the middle of the fucking Amazon rainforest. So there's that. Yeah, definitely got there pretty easily. Definitely didn't take him months to get there. So fucking dumb. So fucking stupid. And he just stumbles upon henchmen. And they're in these boats, which isn't the problem. There's like 3 sets of boats. There's henchmen on them. My problem, add to the list, they're shooting at him with mortars on a fucking speedboat, which is like
mortars and mines. There were mines too. Don't forget those.
It didn't make any sense how they were shooting at him. You put a mortar down in a stationary place to hit another semi-stationary target. You don't use it while you're going at 30 miles an hour trying to target something in front of you. There's no wonder they couldn't hit him for multiple reasons. So he's just like very easily dodging everything, and his boat has, of course, Q gadgets in it, so he's got mines, like Andrew said, he's got a torpedo, and he just fucks them all up. They all just get fucked up.
It's a really boring chase scene.
Very boring. You already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's going to happen. It's predictable as fuck.
Well, I didn't know this was going to happen, I'll be honest. And I don't mean that like as in like, oh, it really surprised me. It's like, no, it surprised me because it's stupid. So there's a point where he sees a waterfall ahead and he's like speeding towards it, and Jaws and his boat are speeding towards him. And next thing, Bond clicks this button and his boat, just like the roof of it, turns into a parasail, and he just starts parasailing away. And at this point, I'm like, just shoot him. Shoot holes in the parasail. Again, you have a good opportunity to kill him now. He's like left all the weapons of his boat to plummet. And no, they just stare at it. And Jaws ends up going over this massive waterfall. He's got to be dead now. He's got to be dead.
Is he, though?
He's not.
I
And
didn't
then
think so.
And then Bond lands his parasail, and he starts like walking through the Amazon, Andrew. He's walking through the Amazon, and he just sees this woman walking through the Amazon.
A blonde
just
woman.
strolling through.
Yeah.
And so he follows her to this ancient
kind of
temple.
lair.
It's like a Mayan temple.
Yeah, it's a
or
Mayan
something.
temple, even though it's not the Mayans.
It's not, but it was that. I'm pretty sure that's what
They
filmed.
mocked. Yeah, I guess and then so he meets all the astronauts that he saw, but from before
At Drax's campus.
and they end up trying to assassinate him by knocking him into a pool.
The anaconda.
That is this is the worst effect.
Why not like an alligator or like a crocodile or
I wanna
something?
say-
like
Well,
that?
they also call it a python, so just fucking kill him.
And on top of that, like shoot him.
Yeah, just
Again,
fucking
we get
take
back
a
to
gun to his
just
temple.
snap his neck, like throttle him in his sleep, like do something immediate to him, slash his throat.
Yeah.
No,
Put a gun
No.
in his mouth and
You had
pull
a
the
chance to
trigger.
shoot
I
the-
mean, Christ.
I mean, good lord. And so he ends up killing the anaconda, James Bond, with like this like thing in his wrist. I think that same thing or
It's the
something.
same thing that he used to
stabs
stop the centrifuge.
And the anaconda is like a rubber like toy.
yeah, it's so fake.
It looks awful. And I was like, I told Andrew at the time, I was like, Sean Connery swam with sharks. And this man is over here like dancing with a rubber anaconda.
Another knock on Roger Moore.
Another knock. Yeah, do the real scene, Roger.
Pussy.
And then Drax is like, well, you've thwarted another attempt to kill you. And it's like, you're an idiot. I hope he kills
Again,
you.
just pull out a gun, you motherfucker.
Yeah. And so he's got James Bond like basically hostage, and we're flying through this last part because, again, nothing happened.
We got to get to the end.
So
here.
he ends up, long story short, this is like a long scene, but he tells him his basic plan.
He takes him into the lair.
And he's got an orchid there. And he's like, I devised a nerve gas from this orchid because of some stupid backstory on human evolution.
He wants to repopulate the world with him as God, essentially, and only the fittest, most beautiful people will inherit the earth.
Very Hitler style plan.
It doesn't make any
No.
fucking sense.
It doesn't, because we don't know why he's chosen these people. Some of them aren't beautiful. Some of them, like, you really question why they're there. But how is he going to try to assassinate Bond before? Well, and all the Moonrakers.
I was going to say, how does Moonraker fit into all of this?
This is what was pulling my hair out. Okay, because he had like 12 Moonrakers. Why did he need that other one?
And for the people back home, remember the Moonrakers are the space shuttle.
The space shuttle that was
Don't
stolen
forget
at the
that.
beginning. Yeah, I know it's easy for you to forget about that because we haven't talked about it since the first 10 minutes of the movie.
First, like,
But all of a
two.
sudden, you're seeing Moonrakers go up. They're left and right. These space shuttles leaving.
They're blasting off.
How the governments haven't found
Or
this-
like question it.
or question all these space shuttles going into the app, I will never know. And basically, he made it look like it got hijacked because one of his Moonrakers malfunctioned and he needed it back. And it was something he was giving to the U.S. government. So it doesn't make any sense. And all the Moonrakers are going up. So how he tries to assassinate Bond now, his next elaborate plan, instead of shooting him while he's held hostage, he throws him in this big room underneath one of the Moonrakers.
He says, "You're gonna dry off. You know, we're gonna get you to dry off. You're wet. Let's get you down there."
And he locks
Warm up.
He locks the door with him and Goodhead in there. They're underneath the rocket exhaust ports of this like giant space shuttle, and he's just gonna burn him to death instead of just, I don't know, shooting him and burning him to death. So Bond, acting quickly as he hears the countdown, pulls off one of the vents, and him and Goodhead are able to walk through the vent, and that Moonraker launches into space. So now their next thing is to try to get into one of the Moonrakers to head to space. That's right. It is James Bond in space. We're space level now. We've gone from California to Britain to Rio de Janeiro to Venice
and now
to
space.
Yes.
Thank God.
So Goodhead is been training to be a pilot at Drax's estate, so she just automatically knows how to be an astronaut.
She mans the space shuttle.
So they get to Moonraker 6. They infiltrate Moonraker 6, and they're flying it to this...
It's a space station.
Kyle, describe the space station, please, for the love of God.
It's all out of proportion. It has like a central hub that's like almost like a sphere almost, but it's not. It has like sections that are...
How did they build this?
I don't know how it makes any sense. And it also has other sections that almost look like solar panels, but they're like 13 times the size of the main structure. And it has a whole bunch of tubing and shit. And there's this big dish at the bottom that's like spinning around in circles, like a communications dish or some kind. So I don't know.
Hey,
and it's like, it's massive.
It's like almost like a planet.
Sense.
And you know what makes it even cooler?
What, Andrew?
It's not detectable by radar.
Oh,
so how are they going to see it? How are they going to find it in the outer atmosphere? Telescopes don't exist, right?
Telescopes don't exist. Neither does other satellites.
Or
you think
just
the Russians would have let this happen?
Just fucking eyes. People have eyes, you know.
Because
this
thing is almost the size of the moon. Like this thing
is massive.
Is like it's a planet in the sky. Which again, how were they able to build it? Because you have to build
no radar chase.
But you have to build it
no radar
first.
Yeah, but
before you put the radar on it.
But no radar.
And this was so absurd. It was one of the worst things we've seen in a movie.
Let's just get to the point here.
There's no point.
What is his mastermind plan?
His plan now is like Kyle said, he wants to eradicate Earth and repopulate and send everybody down. So now everybody's on this space station. So
that is desirable and attractive.
Jaws is on this.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put that in there. Jaws is on there. Jaws, the mismatched giant human with fake teeth.
Who was allowed to bring his 4'2" girlfriend, I guess.
Pippi Longstocking.
Just like making exceptions to that rule, so you might as well not even do the whole.
But what does he want to do? What is his plan? How is he going to?
He's going to set
this.
He's going to send down these little globes that are full of the virus down into the Earth's atmosphere, and they're going to detonate, and the nerve gas is going to kill only the humans. Everything else will be intact. Okay, easy, done, great, amazing.
So what an elaborate way. What an elaborate way to wipe out the human race. You build a stupid space
He could have
station.
he could have just stayed in the Amazon and just launched the nerve gas into any country without building a giant space station.
I said the same thing. It just seemed unnecessary.
You didn't need a space station.
Very elaborate.
Who was funding this? I don't care how much money you have. This would take all of Earth and all of the countries pulling their money together to fund something like this.
Also, why was the original, the Moonraker in the first shot, why was that hijacked? What was their reasoning for that?
Well,
there was something.
Because Moonraker, the one that they were going to send up broke. One of his Moonrakers broke, and he was sending one to the U.S. for whatever reason.
So he went and stole it back?
He stole it back because he needed it.
Couldn't he just built a new one or something? He has all that money. He built a fucking
Andrew,
space station.
You're asking the questions that we're all asking.
I know. I'm just trying to, use a little logic
There's
here.
no logic in this movie. So now they're in space, and let's just call it like I see it. Like Bond and Goodhead end up breaking into the radar room and instantly destroy the radar. The U.S. sees it, and they're like, we're going to send a space shuttle up, which will be
Marines.
Which will happen in 10 minutes. We'll get a bunch of Marines and the space shuttle up there in 10 minutes. We'll be fine, because that's what happens. And it takes the Moonrakers no time at all. Like, they're acting like space is like driving from like here to Decatur. Like, it's no time at all.
15-minute drive, baby.
Yeah, just right up the road.
Normally that would take, like, I don't know.
I think it takes longer in Atlanta traffic than it did for them to get to space.
Sure as hell did. Make it make sense, please.
It doesn't. My head. So they end up taking the radar down, and so the U.S. sends up this space shuttle. All hell breaks loose at this point, and then we get what do we get, Andrew? Because this is where we're laughing. We get the huge space fight.
Oh yeah, they come up with their Moonraker guns, their laser guns, and they just start.
Why did the Marines have them?
Again.
So there
defies all logic.
The Marines are on it's like the invasion of Normandy, except in space. So it's a Saving Private Ryan reference for another episode. I think Tom Hanks was in this scene. So they end up shooting each other into this satellite, and they're just blowing shit up and killing each other. The bodies are just flying off everywhere.
We're losing men left and right.
This is where we're not only losing men left and right. You've lost me permanently at this point. The special effects, sound effects on this
are
pretty bad. It's like pitched up cats going meow, 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 meow.
Even if they were inspired by Star Wars, they really missed the boat on this because the lasers and blaster noises were far superior to what we saw with this.
Oh my
display.
God!
Not even close, night and day, and that was 2 years earlier. So.
They just completely and actual effects of the lasers are dumb as hell.
They're just very B movie horror films that came out around that time where they didn't have any budget.
That's the other thing too. They clearly had budget, but they didn't
use it to the right extent.
The other part about this that just completely lost me was all of them pretending to be in zero gravity and they're walking. And when they stop the actual centrifuge in the space station, it's you're at zero gravity, and everybody just kind of gets slower, and when it does that, everybody slams against the wall. That wouldn't happen. You would just look. You wouldn't slam into anything. It's just it does. It's they're who fucking cares? Just make it look nice, and that's where they left it, and it doesn't really do much for me at all.
Whatever. God, I just want to get to the end. I'm sick of this shit already. They're blasting. Obviously, Drax wants to keep the most beautiful, pristine people around, and Jaws isn't like that, so he goes rogue, turns on Drax, and helps Bond and Goodhead escape. They get back in their Moonrakers, they blow up the space station, and they return to Earth. And is there anything else that really needs to be discussed at this point?
Beard, it's just not. There's no tension in it at all.
They go and chase down the globes that have the
they
vials
send Drax out into space. Bond, and it doesn't. The most anticlimactic battle between Bond and a major villain is he just shoots Drax
and vacuumed out into space,
and then he goes over there and just starts pushing him like a security guard pushes somebody out of a stadium at night.
Yes,
he's just hey, it's time for you to go. He starts
last
pushing.
Call's over, buddy. Time to go.
He pushes.
You're not that guy. You're not that guy.
He pushes them into a door and just sends his ass out into space. And then, everything blows up. Jaws is saved. He ends up saving Bond at one point because Bond tells him, "Hey, they're going to kill you too." And all of a sudden, it just clicks with Jaws. He's like, "Oh
no!" Jaws heard the talk about only the pretty, and he's like, "Oh, me, whatever."
And he talks at one point,
he has
but then
one line.
He goes, "Oh," because him and his girlfriend cheers with some champagne as the space shuttle's exploding. So he says, "Here's to us," says it perfectly and very elegantly, and then loses the ability to talk after that. Because James is like, "Hey, can you help us with the space shuttle, get it unlocked from the door?" And Jaws is like,
he gives a thumbs up, big, beefy thumbs up.
And just goes and rips the fucking metal pole out of the wall that allows them to escape, which, to your point, Andrew, they end up tracking down all the globes. Because they went to this specific Moonraker because it had a laser in it. Because it was Drax's main shuttle, and they used the laser there to blow up all the globes. And how does this movie wrap up? I am so sorry if it went really fast, but there's nothing happened. You got it.
There's really nothing that happened, folks. That's it. That's all. It ends up with
they get back down to Earth.
The defense minister and the CIA guy from the United States are like, "Oh, it did it. Well, let's patch through to Bond.
Yeah.
We'll have the Queen on because this is the first time we've worked together like
That's
this."
Right.
Great. And they turn the camera on, and it's James and Dr. Goodhead
making love.
fucking. They're just fucking underneath the sheets. And he just kind of looks at the camera like, oh, how dare you watch? And he turns the camera off.
James, how could you?
He was like, yeah, he was like, 007. And it ends with her going, could you take me around the world one more time, James? And then that's it. The movie ends.
That's it. They don't get back to Earth. They just, ends with them.
They're in space.
In space, fucking.
Cool.
And we're done. Thank the Lord.
Okay, Andrew, let's start with you on this one. How do you feel watching your first Roger Moore? Is this your first Roger Moore?
Yeah.
How do you feel watching your first Roger Moore James Bond?
I mean, I think we talked about it in depth at the beginning of this blow-by.
We did kind of like put the cart before the horse.
I mean, I was bored. Like, it wasn't...
You did fall asleep at one point.
I did. I don't remember what part it was.
It was when they got to space.
Yeah. It was only for a couple minutes, but yeah, I was bored and I was just taken aback at some of the stupidity, and I don't feel like I wasted 2 hours of my life, but like, I don't know. It was just so dumb.
It was dumb.
It was dumb as shit.
I agree. So I'll segue into this. Like, I don't think it was a waste of time of a movie because it was really funny unintentionally. It was a bad movie. I would never watch it again. I think it was one of those things where I'm glad I experienced it, and I'm glad I'm glad we watched it together because that made it more fun. Yeah,
I feel like you could do a good drinking game out of this.
You could.
Though.
You'd have to be really high or really drunk to watch this.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to be inebriated in some fashion to watch it again.
Yeah, with a group of people.
Yeah.
It's probably fun with a group of friends and you're drinking, but again, that's not a praise for a movie in any way. You shouldn't have to be like inebriated and like making fun of a movie to make it fun. Roger Moore was awful as James Bond. It was good that we got to experience this because I got to see what Kyle was talking about, and everything that Kyle talked about hit. I'm still on the fence of if I think he's a bad actor. I don't know if he's a bad actor, but the script was poor. I think there is a level of Roger Moore getting the shit into the stick with some of the scripts, especially this one. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But he just doesn't come off as Bond. He's not very charming, not very charismatic. He doesn't look athletic either. Bond has this level of athlete
and
to
him.
him.
He's a 60-year-old Methodist
He
minister.
looked terrible. He looked like he was 12 years older than he was. He looked like he needed to sit down the whole movie. I just didn't believe anything he did. It had no weight to it. He threw a punch like he was like blowing up a balloon. It was very weird. I don't know how to describe it any better than that. Overall, really funny but unintentionally. And Roger Moore, God, ugh. Just Kyle, what about you? Do you have any final thoughts? We already kind of know your take.
It's, when people are like, I don't like James Bond or I don't like those movies, I feel like they're talking about this. Any franchise that's been around long enough will probably have movies like this. Star Wars! And they're going to be pretty bad. And you wish you could forget about it. This is one of those movies that I wish I could forget about because it's just, there's no redeeming quality to it. I don't feel like I learned anything from watching it or felt anything at all. It is made simply to be made. And that's it. And that is probably one of the most condemning things I could say about a piece of quote unquote art or media is that it was just made out of an obligation.
It did feel like that they tried for something really different, but it just seemed like set piece to set piece to set piece. And they had this, what if Bond was in space? Everyone loves space. It's like, well, how do we get him to space? I don't know. We'll figure it out as we film it.
Yeah, we'll write it in as we go, and it doesn't make any sense as we write
the
it.
Most
space, look, cool.
Most elaborate, illogical point A to point B to point C and so on. Just
made no sense. They abandon plot points as they go, and they pick up new ones halfway through the movie.
I mean, I would even say like I can go for redeeming qualities like set design, shots, like cinematography, score. None of it. Like literally none of it. I don't want to watch this again. I'm not gonna watch it again. As a kid, when I watched this, I was confused as a child because I was watching this and I was like, wait, I thought they were in California, now they're in Europe, and now wait, we're going to Venice, and wait, how did they get to space from here? And it doesn't make you feel anything. And Thunderball makes me feel something. I would watch that movie again right now. That's how good of a movie it is. I would watch that. I'd watch From Russia with Love again right now Casino Royale, done. No Time to Die, and let's go for it. This one though was, again, it was a chore. This was a chore to watch.
And Chase brings up a valid point, and he said this last night. With Bond movies, there's so much that happens, and it happens quick, and you have to pay attention. But this movie doesn't necessarily warrant...
I paid attention.
It doesn't warrant your full attention half the time. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to be like, all right, I'm spacing out here, and then you miss shit because of how fast the pace of the plot is.
Right. Well, in normal Bond movies, which Kyle talks about, is like the best ones are grounded in reality. I understand that they're action movies, and I have to suspend disbelief.
Something.
Yeah,
but there's
like
a believability to some of them.
Thunderball it was absurd in some parts, but the way that they shot it made you believe it.
It was so believable, all the way down to the water fight. It just was.
Yeah, and it's
I believe every single moment of that.
Yeah, and so this movie, none of it was believable from the opening all the way through, and it's absurd. It's in the level of absurdity where you're rolling your eyes half the time. So when you roll your eyes at like a plot like that, you're not going to take even if Sean Connery was in place of Roger Moore, I don't think he could have saved it.
No.
So it would have just made him look like a doofus too. I need to go watch another Roger Moore and give him a redemption, but at the same time. This was not good at all.
So, shall we get to the burning question?
Kyle, does it hold up?
No.
Andrew, does it hold up?
No.
I definitely don't think it holds up. It is a relic of time, and then like I said, if you are a Bond completionist, maybe go out and catch it just to see how absurd it is.
Just get drunk or high.
Yeah,
or
if you have a bunch of friends that are interested in Bond, you watch some good ones first. And if you sit around and just want to like play a drinking game to something and really laugh, it's probably good for that. But that's a one-time watch. You're not watching that again. Interesting. Like, what do you think the IMDb is on it, and what would you give it?
I know what it is. It's 6.2.
It's 6.2.
Yeah, it's way too high.
What would you give it,
It's
Andrew?
way high.
I'd give it like a 4.9.
Would you? Is it better than Batman and Robin? That's the question I'm going to ask you guys.
Yes.
Yes,
I think so too.
I actually do think so.
I would rather watch this than Batman and Robin.
By a good margin.
Because I at least laughed at this.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin, I sit there like looking at my watch.
Batman and Robin pissed me off.
Yeah, I was mad.
Yeah, this didn't piss me off. I was just kind of like,
we had a good time.
What did I do? What was the point? That's how I felt.
What'd you give it?
4.8.
4.8?
Yeah.
I'll give it
say 4.9, something like that.
Yeah, I was going to give it the same thing. I was going to give it a 4.8. Kyle, what would you give it?
Probably a 3.9.
Oh, so a full point lower. Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Ballsy.
That's fair. I had to give it a 4 at least because a guy got chucked out of a...
Yeah, no, Chase gave it
an
an 8.9. He said that last night. So whatever he just said, I think he said 4.9. It's actually an 8.9. Your ears deceived you there. Okay. So 8.9 from Chase, 4.8 from Andrew, and 3.whatever from Kyle.
3.9.
3.9, yeah. Or 3.8, whatever.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, but it's the end of November, so it's end of November. We will be bringing Bond back down the road. Don't worry. We are going to hit Timothy Dalton. We're going to hit some Daniel Craig.
We're hitting Daniel Craig.
All night.
I'll let him hit me.
But what are we doing next, Andrew? Do you want to tell the people back at home what we got going on?
Are we doing something Christmas-oriented?
We are doing something Christmas-oriented. We talked about this.
Oh, my gosh. Is this...
It's not a good Christmas. We're following Moonraker orders here.
Oh, Merry Shitmas. Yes. Oh, yes. That's what we're calling it. Yep.
We're gonna be looking at some of the worst rated Christmas movies in December, and we're gonna make another Hallmark movie. We should do that again.
Oh yeah, that'll be our first foray.
Yeah. Like that's what we'll do next week. We'll try to write the best Hallmark movie. See if we can top last year.
That's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be real tough.
But in the meantime, you know what we do here. We reach into your childhood nostalgia. We pulled Moonraker out from the past and just realized you should just send that shit up into space and never think about it ever again, or maybe let it get eaten by dogs. It does not hold up, is what we're saying. You can also check us out on TikTok, Instagram. Look for the Merry Shitmas that is on your way starting next Thursday. We hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.